Oh, hi guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel, Totally Magic. Glad you can join me. If you haven't already done so, please consider hitting that subscribe and the notification bell. That way you're reminded whenever we upload a new trick. Today's trick involves a regular deck of cards, and I guess I'd better show you these before we start. A lot of people in the comments always say I don't show you the cards, but they are just a regular deck of playing cards. 52 cards, just red backs that have been shuffled and cut. I promise I will not touch those again. Those go in full view. What I want from you now is a random number. Let's say a random number between 1 and 52. Why those boundaries? Well, because there's 52 cards in the deck. Now, I don't have anyone here to help me, and I do want a totally random number, so I'm going to use my assistant, Alexa. Give me a number between 1 and 52.
Here's a number between 1 and 52. It's 18.
18. Okay, now they do have an absolute free choice of any number. So I'll say to them, do you want to make it lower or higher? Are you happy with 18? You're happy there staying with 18. Now, why did I ask you to pick a random number? Well, let me tell you about what I did yesterday. I went to the racetrack. I normally like to have a little flutter on the horses every now and again. And the way that I tend to pick a horse is by randomly picking a number. For example, if there's 20 horses in a race, I just randomly pick a number and hopefully get lucky. But why do I talk about yesterday? Well, because I had a premonition. When I arrived at the track, there were these horses, and what caught my eye was the name of one particular horse. So on this occasion, instead of using a random number, I actually went for the name of the horse instead. And in fact, I've got my betting slip in here. I kept it, and you'll see why. This is the name of my horse. Oh, by the way, for those of you worried about me leaving my wallet on the table, someone might run off with it. I am a magician, which means that magicians never keep anything of value in their wallet. There's never any money. They keep playing cards, magic wands, and rabbits. Now, this contains the name of my horse, and it was a kind of omen. When I saw it, I thought that could be a premonition that the horse is going to win. Actually, the horse didn't win, but I kept this because I kind of thought to myself, well, maybe it's a premonition of something that will happen not on that day, but a future event, namely today. We'll try it. Now remember, we shuffled the pack, you picked a random number of 18. I want you to take the cards and I want you to deal them face up into a pile onto the table. In fact, stop at 17 and then deal the 18th to one side without looking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is the 18th card. Just put it down there. Give me the rest of the cards. You can see that the cards are just a regular pack of playing cards. Okay, and you can examine these. This is the card you've arrived at random, the 18th card. So what horse did I actually go for on my betting slip? Well, the reason I was drawn to it was because the name of my horse was called the 9 of Diamonds. You can see why I picked that. I didn't win with it yesterday. Maybe I'm going to be a winner today. The 9 of Diamonds. Have a look at the card that you arrived at. And there is definitely a winner. The 9 of Diamonds. So here is the tutorial for this, what I think is a pretty impressive card trick. From the layperson's point of view, it seems impossible. A random card and your prediction match perfectly. So how does it work? Well, for those of you that are here purely to know the secret and then you want to go off and watch another video, I'll tell you immediately what the secret is. For those of you that do have an interest, I'm going to waffle on a little bit more after I've revealed the secret and just give you a little bit of background about the cards that I'm using. So the secret, 2 things: index, stack. That's it, simple as that. So there's nothing complicated about this effect. And in fact, a lot of you will probably have your own method of doing both of these things. Let me talk about the deck first of all. You need a deck of cards that's stacked in a known order, because when somebody gives you a number, you've got to know what the card is in that position. Now, some of you may have studied the mnemonica stack. Some of you might use my favourite stack, which is the Bart Harding stack, and I will put a link at the end of this video if you want to see how that works. You might even use Cy Stebbins. As long as you know that when somebody gives you a number, such as 12 or 14 or 20, you know what card is in that position. Once you know that, I use this wallet here, which some of you magicians will recognise. It's what's known as a Z fold wallet or a Z fold wallet, depending which part of the world you're from. But this Z fold wallet, if you don't know what they are, they allow you to show something when you open it one way, click your fingers, and it looks different when you open it again. And that's the trick behind it. You've got 2 ways of opening this. Now, what I've got in here is an index of 26 pieces of paper. Okay, and I know which one is which, and I know which card is written on those. Why have I only got 26? Well, that I will explain when we talk about the stack. So let me just cover this first of all, the revelation. Once I knew the number from them, in this case Alexa gave me 18, but it can be any number, I knew the card was the 9 of diamonds. So when I opened this up towards me, I picked it up and said, look, I got a betting slip from yesterday, and all I did was to slide out the relevant slip of paper, close this, and then talk about this for a while, and then talk about the wallet not containing any money, so they can see that. They don't see this as important. They just see it as a holder for my betting slip. So I talk a bit more and flash in this, close it up, and talk about the horses. You don't have to use that patter, by the way. I just thought it kind of gave a bit of interest to what is basically a simple trick. But I just flash this, and eventually I put this in there. Now you could close it up if you want, but I like to leave it open in full view. This is the prediction. Now, of course, you could do this a different way. If you don't want to use the wallet, I guess you could just write it on a piece of paper during the performance. You could even have a separate deck, a blue deck of cards that you remove the duplicate from, because at this stage you now know what card they've chosen. That's the revelation part. What about the stack? Why have I only got 26 indexed pieces of paper in my wallet? Well, the stack that I'm actually using is one by a guy called Lewis Jones. Now, Lewis Jones came up with an excellent stacking system that only requires you to memorize the positions of 26 cards, and it's almost automatic. Now, on this tutorial, I'm not here to explain how that works, but I give you a quick insight to how clever this is. Lewis Jones, I've got many books by that guy. He does a lot of card magic, lecturing around the world. He's been a magician for years. Sadly, he passed away last year, and I think he was about 97. So anyway, he's written several books. I've got about 4 or 5 of them. One of them that this came from is this book. Okay, it's a little bit tatty. I've had this a long time now, but it's called Cardigrams, and it's by Lewis Jones. And in here, there's a thing about a memory deck system, and it's that I've used here. Now, the way that it works, and as I said, I'm not here to reveal the details of that. Please go out and buy the book, search it out, Lewis Jones, and you'll come across it. Now, this particular stack is very simple. Let me just explain it. I don't like trying to remember a whole pack of cards, so Lewis made it easy by getting you just to remember 4 cards. The suits: clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds. He then allocated numbers to those: 2, 4, 6 and 8. So all you had to remember is that the 2 represents the clubs, hearts is 4, spades is 6 and 8 is diamonds. That's it. Let me just show you what I mean. If somebody called out a number, say 12, then I take the second digit of that number, which is a 2, that tells me it's a club. Then to get the value, I just add the 2 digits together. The 1 and the 2 gives me 3. So the card in the 12th position will be the 3 of clubs. So let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 3 of clubs. It's that simple. Now, there are some good and bad points about this. One, you've only got 26 cards that they can choose. Okay, so it's not a full deck that they can choose. So there's only ever going to be 26 cards. Also, it works better if you have a even number given to you. I'll explain if they give you an odd number, but that's how it works. So with this, you could pick this up in 2 minutes. No spending weeks memorizing a deck. That's what I think is a very clever system. I do believe that Lewis Jones never got the true credit he deserved for coming up with such a brilliant stack system. Okay, yeah, I love this. I don't use it as much. I use the Bart Harding system because I can use all 52 cards and know their positions, and I can also do it in reverse of someone giving me a card and I know the position. This one you can't. So let me give you another example. If I was to ask someone for a number and they give me, I don't know, 48. Now, because the second digit is an 8, that tells me it's going to be a diamond suit. Then if I add the 2 values together, the 8 and the 4, or the 4 and the 8, that will give us 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is a queen. So it's the queen of diamonds in the 48th position. That's it. It's very simple. So what happens if they do give an odd number? Well, if they give an odd number, you've got to make it even. So you just add 1 to it. So say, for example, someone called out 13. I, in my head, just add 1 to it, which makes it 14, which is a heart, and it's the 5 of hearts. Then all I've got to do is to transfer 1 card from the top to the bottom. So the 13th card, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is indeed the 5 of hearts. It's that simple on there. Now, the great thing about the stack, if there were 3 magicians here all using this particular stack, if we all spread our cards, they would all be different, because the 26 that are in a known order are separated. They alternate with the 26 you're not interested in the stack. Okay, so they're always going to look totally random. That's it. Do look it up. Lewis Jones card stack or memory stack. Or even better, buy the book, the Cardiograms book here. I think it's out of print now, but you might be able to pick up a second-hand copy. But he's also got a collection of books that it appears in, so look at that as well. Now, I know some of you who are new to magic may not have heard of Lewis Jones, and you might be putting in the comments below that this stack is called the Prism stack. It came out about 6 or 7 years ago, and the person that was selling that claimed on camera that he invented this. Now, I know some of you will probably say, well, maybe he just happened to come up with the same idea. No, trust me, this is 100%, and it was revealed afterwards that it was the stack invented by Lewis Jones. Okay, I always was really annoyed when I saw that prism stack because I knew where it came from, but this guy claimed that he invented it. He said it on camera on the DVD, and he gave no credit to Lewis on there, and it all gets messy. But the bottom line is 100% it is Lewis's stack, card for card. So it's not an accident. It wasn't that he didn't know about Lewis. He actually said in his video that he knew Lewis Jones, so that's where the connection is. But he never got the true permission to use it. I just thought it was sad that this guy, he was old even back then when this came out in his 90s. He wasn't going to argue. He was a gentleman. And as I said, sadly, he passed away last year at age 97, which is a great shame. But I always thought that the people that put out the prism stack should really have donated some of the profit to Lewis and his family or a charity, because it was his invention. As I said, I think it's great, this stack system. But as I said, for this particular trick, you don't need to use this stack. You could use any stack, because some of you may even have one of those little pocket indexes where you can pull out any card, and you could end the trick like that rather than do the system that I used with the little slip of paper and stuff like that. Anyway, I think I've waffled on enough, and I've got that off my chest about this. I think Lewis Jones credited 100% for this brilliant stack system. Anyway, until next time, have fun with your magic. See you soon.